The Impact segment tonight, the situation in Ukraine getting violent. Government has sent forces to remove pro-Russian agitators from public buildings in eastern Ukraine. After annexing Crimea, Russian President Putin seems to want to do the same thing with this territory. Yesterday, Putin and President Obama spoke on the phone, with Putin denying Russia has anything to do with agitation. Joining us now on the phone from Riga, Latvia, one of the Baltic states, Senator John McCain is touring the area. Let's get right to it, Senator. If you were president, what would you do right now to stop Putin from invading Ukraine?
Well, first of all, I would rush them with defensive weapons and armor, body armor, night vision, intelligence capabilities, jet fuel. Would give them the means to defend themselves. Their country has just been partially dismembered despite a solemn treaty that was entered into by Russia, and they're about to do the same thing in eastern Ukraine, and they may do the same thing in southern Ukraine, landlocking Ukraine and going all over to Moldova, which is Vladimir Putin's next target. And
how do you know that? I know you're on your way to Moldova after you get through with the Baltic states. But how do you know? How do you know that Putin has designs on yet another country?
Because he has, on many occasions, stated the worst thing that happened in the 20th century was the breakup of the Soviet Union. He has made no bones about his attempts to restore the, quote, near abroad. And he has 1,400 Russian troops that are stationed there in violation of previous agreements. And it's everything what he's about. And I've been here in the Baltic countries, and I can tell you they are very, very nervous, even though they are members of NATO, which, according to Article 5, means an attack on one is an attack on all. But I'd get them the weapons. I would restart our missile defense systems. I would get them economic assistance. I would make sure that we have military exercises, including some semi-permanent military forces stationed in the Baltic countries. There's a number of steps at the most powerful nation in the world, and I would have tough, enforceable sanctions, and that means the Europeans will not join us, but they must follow us. And I would have a president of the United States that tells the American people what's at stake here. This is a blatant takeover of a country by Vladimir Putin in the old Russian style, and he lies through his teeth, as you know.
Yeah. Now, when you say you would station troops, Western troops, in some of the countries that border Russia, where would those troops come from?
I think they would do joint exercises. When I say station, I don't mean station, a permanent base. I mean joint operations.
But would they be NATO forces or would they be American
NATO forces? NATO and U.S. NATO and U.S.
What if NATO wouldn't go along with it, though? You know, I mean, that's the problem here that America's facing, that we don't have. Even Great Britain doesn't really back us up here. And so we're almost going it alone.
We may have to, but other nations will follow if we lead. This President of the United States won't even give them defensive weapons with which to defend themselves. What do you expect the Europeans to do? This is another total failure and lack of leadership and a fundamental misreading of Vladimir Putin. Colonel Putin is the guy that said that he said we need a reset button. Colonel Putin was the guy he was going to be. Remember when he Obama talked to Medvedev and said, "Tell Vladimir I'll be more flexible."
Yeah.
Vladimir Putin does not respect the United States of America, and the good example of that is a Russian airplane buzzing an American ship in the Black Sea for
well, he's
about
certainly
90
pushing
minutes
it
today.
There's no doubt he's pushing it, Putin. He's going.
He's going to push it as far as he can.
Right, as far as he can. And do you see the parallel between the 30s in Europe and Chamberlain and this?
Absolutely. Look at the speech that Hitler gave from a hotel balcony in Vienna after they had taken Austria in an Anschluss. You'll find the words that he used are very parallel to those that Vladimir Putin used after taking Crimea. And there's no doubt about what he wants to do. He wants to restore the old Russian Empire, and right now he is getting no blowback. Right now, what he has done after Crimea is getting a handful of people sanctioned and one bank. Now, how do you think that Vladimir Putin interprets that?
Well, I think he sees it as weakness. But, you know, he knows. He knows the state of the country, and I think he knows that President Obama is not a confrontational man. Listen, Senator, we really appreciate you taking the time. We know you're very busy. Thank you.